How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with Alex and Ryan. So, all the news right now is about interest in Alex Bregman. Everyone's talking about Bregman. Are the Yankees going to make a play for him? Obviously, Kyle Tucker going to the Cubs. Weird situation for the Cubs. They're probably going to try to offload Cody Bellinger now, and I think the pieces are kind of coming together. If they're willing to take on some of that Bellinger salary, he'll probably end up being a Yankee. But now the Yankees pivot and they say, okay, well, they don't want to send us Kyle Tucker. Let's take one of their best players. And they obviously got Paredes. And do they need Bregman? That's the big question right now. Do they need Bregman? Can they afford Bregman? A lot of people saying no. Yankees obviously in the mix here. We want to break down why we think, maybe pros and cons. Maybe we don't necessarily think that he's a great fit. But there's one thing that you can say about Bregman that I don't think you can say about many other players on the free agent market. This dude has extensive postseason experience, and not only postseason experience, but quality postseason experience. And he's won chips, obviously the scandal, but ignoring that for a second, his production and his clutch factor and his defense, you upgrade third base overnight, assuming you move Jazz Chisholm back to second base, which, Ryan, I think we can both agree that probably is what happens there. But I want to give a couple of minutes just to break down Alex Bregman's numbers, why he would be a good fit for the Yankees. Ignoring the statistical kind of differences with his power, obviously that short left porch in Minute Maid Park compared to the Bronx. Maybe he wouldn't hit as many home runs, but maybe you get more extra base hits out of him. This guy is, you put him in the middle of your lineup and you significantly get better. He offers you a lot of balance. Ryan, why do you like Alex Bregman? Do you think this is a good fit for the Yankees? Do you think this is something they're seriously considering?
Yeah, so, the reports recently have been the Yankees are involved in the Alex Bregman sweepstakes. Now, I think anytime you're dealing with a Boris client, you have to put that asterisk of, are you leverage? Are you leverage for another team? And personally, I think the Yankees are really in this. I do believe the Yankees are in this firmly. And something I wanted to point out when it comes to Alex Bregman, you mentioned something that he can provide that other free agents can't. You talk about the clutch factor of the postseason. I'm going to tell you something else that he can provide that other free agents can't. He is a Hall of Famer in the making. He has 39.71 on Fangraphs, 39.6 on Baseball Reference, entering his age 30 season. The second he crosses that 60 WAR threshold, he's got to put up 20-something WAR over 6 years or 7 years. If he signs a 7-year deal with the Yankees or 7-year deal with whoever, and he puts up, 21 WAR over 7 years, he's got to be a 3-WAR player for the next 7 years. I think that's completely attainable for Bregman. I think that this is a great player who I think a lot of people have kind of assumed will age poorly because he's entering his age 31 season and he's been good over the last 3 years, but not as good as he was in 2018 or 2019 when he was, one of, if not the best third baseman in baseball. He was a premium player back then. He was a 7-8 WAR season. That's the kind of player that wins MVPs, but now he's settled into being a all-star caliber player. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with being an all-star caliber player. He is a premium defensive third baseman. He is a pretty good offensive player. He's about, a 120 to 125 WRC plus hitter. I think that people talk about the, I think that people have talked about the fact that on offense, at least, Bregman's going to provide something the Yankees really need, which is some power, some defense. It's offense. Some contact. Let me restart my point. On the offense side of the ball, Alex Bregman would do a really good job of being an all-around hitter. He has contact. He has really strong plate discipline skills. And he has some home run power. And he would have hit 25 home runs at Yankee Stadium instead of 26. Everyone talks about the ballpark fit, but kind of conveniently they don't mention the fact that Bregman had more of an all-fields approach this past season. Something that I think he may have done maybe because he knew he was hitting free agency. Don't you find that a little bit convenient that Bregman's ability to hit the ball to right field improved or center field improved the year before he's hitting free agency? If you're Scott Boras, you kind of know that the Houston Astros aren't going to be the top bidder for his services or are likely not to be the top bidders for his services. I think it's very telling. And, now they're pivoting towards Nolan Arenado. It's telling that teams aren't willing to go over a certain threshold for Bregman. I think that, you have the Red Sox. There was a public report from Sean McAdam of Mass Live that was talking about the fact that the Red Sox have an internal divide over Bregman. The president of baseball operations, Craig Breslow, does not want Bregman. Team manager and team president, Sam Kennedy and Alex Cora. Alex Cora, of course, spent time with Bregman in Houston. They want Bregman. It tells you that not a lot of organizations are all in on Bregman. I think that means his price tag could fall. This reminds me a little bit of last year with Chapman and Snell, where a lot of people, and I will say this confidently, Alex, who was the one person in Yankee land saying, go sign Matt Chapman? I don't care what people have to say, go sign Matt Chapman. Don't tell me about this or that. He's a good player. The Yankees need good players. That was this guy. This guy right here. And guess who was right on that? This guy right here, because Matt Chapman's a steal of a contract now. 6 years, $150 million. The Yankees wish they could pay 6 years, $150 million for someone like Matt Chapman. I think it's the same situation here. With a better player, a player who's on a Hall of Fame trajectory, who's one of the best third basemen of our generation, and we're sitting here, we're talking about, well, does his bat play at Yankee Stadium? He's a good hitter. His bat plays everywhere. Alex, remember those silly comments about Juan Soto's expected home runs were lower at Yankee Stadium? What did he do at Yankee Stadium? Career year, because that's what great players do. They play great baseball. I believe Alex Bregman's a great player who will continue to play great baseball for the New York Yankees if he were to sign here.
Yeah, and you said it before, the Astros look like they're pivoting serious interest reportedly in Nolan Arenado. So they're ready to let Bregman go. And as you're saying, I mean, I don't think it's just Bregman, dude. I think the whole infield market, the prices are coming down. Like, I thought Gleyber Torres was going to be in like the 17, 18 million per season range. I think he's going to be more in the 12 range now. Like, his stock is plummeting. There's not many teams willing to overpay for infielders anymore, especially, guys that getting a little bit older, like Bregman at 30 years old. So, maybe the Yankees, I know the Astros offered 150 mil. I don't think the Yankees have to go much further than that. Maybe 170, they could get it done with Bregman. 170 over, 6 years. Like, I don't know what that averages out to, but let's see, 170 over 6 is $28 million. If you even give him a 7th year, that's $24 million. I think that you could bring the price down, add an extra year to it. Maybe have an out or a player option at some point. I don't know. You could try to lower it at some, financial level, but I think that you could get Bregman for a little bit cheaper. That market seems a little bit depressed at the moment. I don't know. Is there any other big infielders that got really big contracts so far? I mean, aside from Willy Adames?
Even then, Willy Adames signs, 7 years, 182? I don't know about you, Alex.
He's better right now.
I would say this. If the Yankees had a chance to sign Willy Adames at 7 years, $182 million, they would have done it. I would have been like, yeah, it makes sense. And he's a shortstop. Shortstops get paid more than third basemen. Now, the Astros did have a 6-year, $156 million offer on the table, so that's the baseline. We know he's going to sign for more than that. But I think the Yankees could offer a contract to Bregman that's more appealing to the Yankees and more appealing to Alex Bregman. Why don't we do a 7-year, $170 million deal? It guarantees him $14 more million. 170 over 7 years is, it's $24 million a year. That keeps the luxury tax 24.3. If he's like, well, I want a little bit more than that, why don't we make it 175 over 7? That makes it, a $25 million deal a year for 7 years. I think that's something that's attainable. And, you're paying $25 million a year for a guy who's going to put up 4 wins above replacement next year. Yeah, I'll do that deal. Yeah. And, he's a premium defensive third baseman. He's someone who, would immediately make the Yankees better on defense. His offensive numbers this year took a little bit of a slide from last year, but if you look at his awful first month of the season,
the first half was bad.
Horrible.
Dude, look at his slugging. Look at his slugging. In half the amount of at-bats, he had 14 homers in post All-Star break, and then he had 12 in the first half. The guy, he was really cold in the first half of the year in terms of the slugging, and then he started to pick it up.
Yeah, so on May 12th, he had a 56 WRC plus and 1 home run on the season. He didn't have his first home run until April. And then after that, preceding that point in time, from May 13th through the end of the season, as you mentioned, small sample size of plate appearances. In 475 plate appearances, he hit 25 home runs. The thing that I really was encouraged by, his bat speed jumped up by a mile per hour. He increased his fast swing rate. He was swinging harder. He did have some elbow discomfort at the end of the year, and they were able to get the bone chip removed from that. I wonder if Bregman's someone who could swing a little more freely, hit the ball a little harder, generate a little more slug, now that his elbow's a little more freed up and that he doesn't have that limiting him. His barrel rate jumped up to 7.2% over that stretch. He hits a lot of baseballs in the air. That's something that entices me if I'm the Yankees, because you need someone who isn't going to hit into a bunch of double plays. When you're talking about leading off in front of Aaron Judge, having someone who's going to kind of profile very similar in terms of play appearance to someone like Gleyber Torres, I think that's important. Having someone who's going to make a lot of contact, who's going to hit for some power. He brings more power than Gleyber did last year. He's a more consistent 25 home run hitter than Gleyber is. And this is no shot at Gleyber. We're talking about Gleyber Torres and Alex Bregman. there's nothing wrong with being worse than
my
Alex
God.
Bregman. There's it's like that, like
Two
that's
different
like,
players.
You know, but also it's like there's nothing wrong with being worse than Alex Bregman. It's not like a slight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
course.
it's just that you're talking about a pretty good player and then someone who has like Hall of Fame kind of trajectory here. Again, he hits the ball really hard, or he hit the ball really hard in the second half. He improved his chase rate dramatically. He stopped chasing as much in the second half. His swinging strike rate remained, excellent. He makes a lot of contact. This is someone to me, at least, who I think can be a productive hitter for a pretty long time. He's been a productive hitter for a pretty long time now. And again, like I don't know, Alex. In a case of Alex Bregman, I just feel like he's the guy. I feel like he's a dude. He's the guy who makes this team better. Now, granted, if the Yankees can find less expensive ways to improve their roster, that would be great. I think you and I can agree. In an ideal world, the Yankees can just commit 2 to 3 year deals to people who make them infinitely better. But I think Bregman presents an opportunity to get better. And we talk about this again with this core. Look at the 2014 or the 2025 team. Aaron Judge is only getting older. Cole's only getting older. Rodon's only getting older. You can't keep going, well, you got to wait for financial flexibility for like Kyle Tucker or whatever it may be. Like, you've got to win. You have to win. That's what you have to, you have to win. You
Yep.
do. So, that's where I'm at with Bregman. It's a win now move. I'm all in on win now moves now because I don't know how much longer you're going to have prime Aaron Judge and prime Garrett Cole.
Right. And I'll take it a step further and talk about, you mentioned the financials. Well, before I mention that, I wanted to just hammer one point home that I was looking at. You know how many playoff games Alex Bregman has played in his career? It's pretty impressive. 99.
Yeah.
99 playoff games. You don't get that on the free agent market every day. You know what I mean? 99 playoff. He had 117 WRC plus in the playoffs. Granted, some maybe have been cheating, but it's fine. we'll look at the better sample. 19 homers and 54 RBIs. Right. This is a guy who is a 17% above average hitter in the playoffs when pitching is better, right? Like every playoff team is going to have better pitching. He steps up and provides above average stuff. Whereas the Yankees, you had Stanton, Soto, basically carrying us through the playoffs. Like those two guys, Volpe got hot at the end, but like those two guys literally put us on their shoulders and carried us in the playoffs. Judge was below average for most of the playoffs. We're looking at a situation where like the Yankees need consistent threats when it matters most. Bregman is one of those guys that's going to be, he knows what it's like to be in a big moment. You know what I mean? In the Bronx, it's a big game 5, big game 6. Bregman's already been there against the Yankees in the Bronx in those games. So he knows what that atmosphere is like in a hostile environment here. But us on his side, a little bit different. So, just discussing the pros for Alex Bregman, I do want to talk about some of the cons of Alex Bregman. And I know people are like, I don't want him. There's definitely conflicting opinions here, but I would like to be a little bit, play devil's advocate in this instance and be like, okay, why would we not want Alex Bregman? Well, the number one reason you don't want Alex Bregman is because that contract is probably going to age poorly, right? That's the number one thing to say. However, the financial kind of counter would say, after 2025, you're getting rid of $18.5 million from Marcus Stroman's contract, and then you're getting $15 million off from DJ LeMahieu in 2027. So, like, there are money along the way, along his contract, along the way, he's going to be replacing other bad contracts. How about Aaron Hicks, who we're still paying $10 million until 2027, right? Like, there's money going to be coming off the books as we progress through his contract. And it's going to be 2025. So 3 years from now, we also have a buyout option on Stanton's deal at $10 million, which then you're going to be saving $22 million per season. So there's a lot of bad money in the future going to be coming off. And you can easily justify Bregman's deal because it'll be a drop in the bucket long term. As the salary, as people spend more, teams spend more. You look at kind of the situation of the money that the Yankees are already kind of paying out on bad deals, that money will start to kind of come off the books. Even Garrett Cole's contract will be off the books in 2028. So it's like, you kind of look at where the Yankees are positioned. They can afford to have one like suspect contract down the road because of all the money they will be shedding. So I'm not really concerned about the financials of it necessarily, Ryan. And at the very least, you're going to get elite defense from Alex Bregman even as he gets older. Like that's one of the things that does age well is defense. Even Josh Donaldson was like a decent defender, and he was just a horrible offensive player. Bregman's offensive game, though, Ryan, probably ends up becoming more of a contact slap hitter as he ages, right? Like his slugging will inevitably decrease. We saw it rebound really nicely this past season, and of course, you said like he got the surgery to get that bone chip removed. So we're assuming like he's going to come into this season really healthy, but at $25 million a year at $175 over 7 years, I'm okay with that type of contract because $25 million a year is a drop in the bucket long term for the Yankees, and it still positions them next year to be able to afford Kyle Tucker's contract. Because you're like, in this instance, we're going to talk about pairing him with a more cost efficient free agent. So, Ryan, I know you have one name in mind that you really like, and this is a guy. I don't think he's making that much money. Right? He's making $7.5 million in 2025. Or sorry, he's still in arbitration, so maybe he makes $12 million maximum over the next 2 years of team control. Tell us a little about your guy right now, Nathaniel Lowe, a player that you would maybe prefer to see, a lefty, really good player. Would he be a perfect fit? You position him next to Bregman in the infield, obviously not next to, but in the infield with Bregman. You now have one of the best defensive infields in the sport and one of the best hitting infields in the sport as well. Why is this an option do you think the Yankees should explore?
Yeah, over the last 2 seasons, Lowe went from a firmly below average defender to a firmly above average defender. He has 9 outs above average and 4 defensive runs saved at first base over the last 2 seasons. He plays a ton of games. He's played 140, 161, 157, 157. And he's a solid bat. He's consistently around, that 115 to 120 range. His swing doesn't play great for Yankee Stadium because he's more of like an opposite field kind of guy, but perhaps the Yankees bring him in, kind of entice him to hit the ball more to right field. Again, we talk about with Juan Soto, we were like, again, the expected home runs, that wasn't great, but he was able to, for lack of better terms, he was able to improve his batted ball profile because he played to the ballpark. Maybe Lowe was able to play to the ballpark. Good walk rates, low strikeout rates, the hard hit rates. He can hit the ball hard. He hasn't hit it in the air consistently enough. Again, something I think the Yankees can work on him with. He has a great amount of doubles. There's a lot of extra base hit potential here. And the Rangers have one of the worst bullpens you could possibly be looking at right now. I looked at, their active roster, guys who are currently on their roster right now, it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all for them. They have guys like Grant Anderson. They lost David Robertson. They lost Kirby Yates, and they lost Jose Leclerc. And those guys were some of the best relievers on this team. I mean, we're talking about a bullpen where they had Yates who had a 1.17 ERA and Robertson 3 flat. Yates struck out 12.41 batters a 9. Robertson 12.38. They combined for 129 appearances. You're losing a ton of volume in your bullpen. They were their 3rd and 4th most valuable pitchers in terms of FWAR this past year. The Yankees can provide them with perhaps a little bit of bullpen depth by giving them someone like a Jake Cousins over the next 4 years who's very cheap and is going to help their bullpen. I love Jake Cousins, great reliever. I think he's someone that the Yankees covet and all that stuff, but if you're the Rangers, you just acquired Jake Berger, you're trying to acquire someone like Jock Peterson even, does Lowe have value for you the way that Cousins would, considering their bullpen's so bad? They don't really want to spend a ton, and the market for relief pitching has seemed to exploded. The Yankees obviously taking Williams off the board really hurts the Rangers because, Williams is someone they may have coveted. And the other player I think that could go in this deal is Ben Rice. Now, I like Ben Rice, but Alex, if you have Nathaniel Lowe, Ben Rice doesn't have a role over the next 2 years. Considering Rice entering his age 26 season, do you really want to wait on a guy until he's 28 years old? That feels a little bit weird. And perhaps he's someone who the Rangers could covet because of that good underlying data. The Astros liked Ben Rice when they were talking about Kyle Tucker. The Yankees obviously didn't get that done, but that seems to have more to do with who Jim Crane is than anything else, and Jim Crane not really want to deal with the Yankees. As it pertains to Rice, if you combined Rice and Cousins, could you get Nathaniel Lowe? You give the Rangers a left-handed bat that they could put either at DH or first base, or, even catch a little bit for them. Last year, they didn't get a great catching season out of Jonah Heim, who, they've tried to supplement that room with Kyle Higashioka. Rice could help there as well. I think this deal makes sense for both teams. Lowe for the Yankees would make them a better offense. Lowe could be a leadoff hitter, could be a third hitter. He has the plate discipline to lead off. And if you acquired, Cody Bellinger and Alex Bregman, or you did Cody Bellinger and Nico Horner even, you have 2 left-handed bats, both of whom I think can hit 20 home runs over a course of a full season. I prefer a little more juice instead of Horner. Bregman has a little more juice than Horner does, but, you can't really be pickers, can't be choosers, or beggars can't be choosers at this point. The Yankees have leaned into run prevention. You want to have a great defensive infield. Horner certainly provides that. Bellinger is a great defensive left fielder. Lowe is a strong defensive first baseman. Jazz slides to third base, Horner to second. You have quite a ball club, Alex. You have a team that's very strong defensively, can put up runs, can run a little bit. That's an offense. The only thing I have a concern of is your second best hitter may not have a WRC plus higher than like 110. And I don't love that. I'd prefer if they can get someone a little bit better. But, Lowe is someone who is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if if you're the Yankees and you have a team in infield, Bregman, Nico Horner, whatever it might be, Nathaniel Lowe, even Carlos Santana, or Christian Walker, if you're a team like the Cleveland Guardians that preys on contact, you're in trouble because an infield defense like that, if you're not hitting for power and launching balls out of the stadium, you are in hell. Because the Yankees aren't going to make mistakes. You're not going to see the Gleyber Torres mistakes. You're not going to see the issues they had. Like it's going to be night and day. It's going to be clean and efficient baseball, and that's exactly what the Yankees need. Especially in the World Series, we see you can't make mistakes in the World Series. It ends up in losses. So cleaning up that defense, Bregman solves that problem for you, but he also solves the power problem. Adding a little bit more power to the infield. I think that's an element the Yankees are like, okay, he checks 3 boxes for us. He gives us power from an infield position. He gives us elite defense, and he gives us contact. And if you want to add a couple more boxes to it, he gives us an insane amount of experience and leadership, right? Like the Astros do not want to lose Alex Bregman. He's just priced out of their range. It's that simple. So when you look at the situation at hand, I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals probably are going to eat some of Arenado's contract just to send him to the Astros. But Bregman going to the Yankees, I mean, would it be unexpected because of everything that's happened? Absolutely. But the Astros having to show up and play the Yankees and Bregman's on our side, that's not a situation they really want, especially having just lost Kyle Tucker. Like, they're not going to be much of a problem in the AL
Absolutely.
anymore.
And, this is something that I want to talk about and emphasize when we talk about signing Alex Bregman. What is he going to be in 5 years? Well, let me be honest with you guys. What is the AL going to be in 5 years? Because the Yankees...
What's Aaron Judge going to be like in 5 years? Right. They need to win freaking now.
I mean, in 3 years, are the Yankees going to sit atop the American League? I don't think so. The American League is extremely wide open. We've talked about this time and time again. We talked about when we were talking about projections, right? Projected win totals for the New York Yankees. Projected win totals for the rest of the American League. The Yankees are projected to be about a 90-win team, right? Like, that's roughly what they're going to be, right? That's what projections think they could be. They have, in terms of projected WAR, so as a roster, who has the most projected WAR? It's the Dodgers at 49.8, the Braves at 48.1, the Yankees at 46.6, the Orioles at 46.4, the Mets at 44.8, right? The Astros have dropped to 43.3. The Yankees are, like, marginally better than the Baltimore Orioles at this point, who have added Tyler O'Neill, have added Gary Sanchez, who don't seem to be super into the top of the starting pitching market. But at any point in time, Alex, what if the Orioles woke up and said, F this, we're trading for a starter. We're going to go trade for, I'm not sure who's available. We're going to trade for Luis Castillo, right? Then they're going to be better than you if they trade for Luis Castillo. Like, the Yankees aren't meaningfully better than anybody else in the American League, right? Than not anybody else, but then the Orioles right now, they're decently better, like enough that I'd say they're a better team, but not meaningfully better, where they'll dominate the American League. You add an Alex Bregman, you add, where the Yankees are weak right now, it's left field. The Yankees have one of the worst projected WAR totals at left field right now. The Yankees are relatively weak at not relatively. The Yankees are extremely weak at first base. They need to improve there. So are those two positions that you maybe say, hey, we got to prioritize improving there before we improve at second or third? Maybe. I do like Jazz. I think Jazz is going to be a very big player for this team in 2025. But they're middle of the pack at second base or third base. They need to improve there. They have a rotation that projects pretty well. That's great. They have a bullpen that projects pretty well. That's great. But it's got to improve. They've got to be better. And it's the offense. The offense is what has to improve for the Yankees if they want to take that step forward. Alex, I don't foresee it happening if they're not going to go out and get a big guy. If Cody Bellinger is the best bat you're bringing in, your offense is going to suffer again. It's going to be a mediocre group. You need to bring in somebody who's a legit thumper. We've talked about various guys and various players. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that all I care about at this point in time is that the New York Yankees are able to go out and get better on offense. If Bregman's able to do that for them, then that's the guy you go get. F what he looks like in 5 years. And also $25 million a year in 5 years. Is it really going to be an albatross?
I mean, dude, that's halfway through Ohtani's contract, and he's getting $700 million deferred. It's $415 inflation. Think about the inflationary cost. Like, $25 million in 5 years is going to look like a drop in the bucket.
Also,
like DJ LeMahieu 4 or 5 years ago would have been getting that if it was today. Like, that's what we're talking about.
This out in terms of quote unquote albatross contracts, right? Like, Giancarlo Stanton counts towards $22 million towards luxury tax for the New York Yankees, and over the last 3 years, he has 1.3 WAR. 1.3 WAR. What move has Giancarlo Stanton stopped the Yankees from making? You could say it's Bryce Harper, but they that's different because Harper happened immediately after Stanton was here, and Stanton was very good the first year he was here. So who cares, right? It's not like Stanton didn't stop him from getting Soto. You didn't get Soto because the Mets went to $800 million. You can go get premier players with him on your payroll. You can still get premier players. Donald's making $25 million a year over 2 years, and it was a tough contract, but the Yankees ate it the last year. They just said, screw it, you're gone. We're going to put you on the Phantom IL, and then we're going to cut you. So, the Yankees need to go out and get better. They do. They need to maximize this window. That's why they went out. When you go out and get Devin Williams, when you go out and get Max Fried, it's not so that you can go, but I'm scared of what Bregman's going to look like in 7 years. You do it because you're trying to win ball games. You're trying to win a ton of games. And look, guys, we're all in on the Yankees this year. We think that this can be a team that wins the World Series. I'm so all in, I just shaved my beard. I only have a mustache going, in compliance with the New York Yankees. But that's not why. I just shaved it because I wanted to. But Alex, they're in a contention window. This is a win now window. This is it. It's go time, baby. So they have to go and get it. They have to go and get theirs. And this team's capable. Like this, we have obvious holes on this roster, and they can fix every single one of them. Every single one of them without hamstring. Look, if you don't want to go long term with a deal, why don't you go get Bellinger, Horner, and Lowe then? Because none of those guys are owed big time money after 2026. Actually, none of them are owed any money after 2026. You free up at least. In terms, so Bellinger, he could opt out in 2026, and that helps you. But if you get Bellinger, and you mentioned Stroman, you're free of like $50 million, 40-something million dollars, between the two of them. With Lowe and Horner off the books, you free up like another $20 million or $30 million the year after. Like, come on. I mean, there's money to free up. These are players you can lose pretty, easily. I don't know. I feel like people are so tied into the cost-based analysis of everything. It's like, how much does it cost? Who gives a shit, man?
Well,
who gives
I can tell you, based on cost, right now the Yankees have $254 million in projected total allocations next year, and that's including arbitration contracts. And I'd like to point out that they're paying Aaron Hicks $8.7 million in salary this year, and Rizzo has a $6 million buyout option. So, there's $14 million, almost $15 million sitting there that's being allocated by players not on this roster. So in 2027 or 2026, when that money comes off the books, that's a free 50. Think of it as a free 15 mil that we are paying for guys not on this team. So if you sign Alex Bregman to a $25 million per year contract, $15 million is going to be allocated next year from money coming off the books from guys not on this team. You know what I mean? So it's like you can offset it in that way. Logically for moving forward, but at the same time, the Yankees are at 254. Let's assume they're going to land at they want to land at 300, right? They want to land probably a round number. I say to be competitive. That's where you're going to go. That leaves us with $46 million to spend. Ryan, $46 million to spend. What can you do with $46 million? Let's say $25 million to Bregman. So now you have about $20 million, $21 million left. You could, if you convince the Cubs to take on some of Bellinger's money, you can probably acquire him maybe at, let's say, $20 million per season. And in that process, you probably trade one of these guys. Like, I mean, you could look at some of these guys making a little bit of money. I don't know. Let's see, Trent Grisham's making $5 million. Like, I know they want him as the backup. You could ship him off.
You know what I'm kind of feeling, because I just saw this trade that dropped. Apparently, the Rays are sending Jeffrey Springs to Tampa, to Oakland. If they're looking to free a little money and a little, you feeling Yandy, baby? You feeling a little Yandy, baby? Are you feeling a little Yandy, baby? Because I'm feeling a little Yandy, baby.
If they traded Yandy to us, I mean, obviously he's going to play first base in this instance. I mean, like he's not the best defender in the world, but this dude's gonna give you. If he gave us a 130 WRC plus, I mean, I'm ecstatic.
Are you feeling?
It.
I'm feeling Yandy, baby. I'm feeling Yandy. I'm feeling Yandy,
maybe
baby.
That's so.
Go
maybe
get Bellinger. Go get Yandy.
The secret move no one's talking about.
Right.
Maybe
go get
that's
Yandy,
the secret
baby.
move.
Let's go get Yandy, baby.
Because the Yankees wanted him at the deadline. Remember, they wanted him at the deadline. They just got outbid for it. So maybe there's still that interest there.
They just
didn't get moved. Right.
We're not moving this guy.
Yeah,
I'm feeling Yandy,
which
baby.
Is stupid. But.
I'm feeling Yandy. Baby. Who is it?
See, like, I hope if
you're in the comment section and you're feeling Yandy right now, I need a. Are you feeling Yandy? If you're at this point of the episode, let me know if you're feeling Yandy, baby. I'm feeling Yandy right now. I'm feeling Yandy because like
he costs nothing.
Right. I was a little worried that the Rays were kind of like not gonna be like dramatically selling off, if that makes sense. But Springs is a pretty significant core piece to sell off. They like Springs. It's not like he's like a superstar or whatever it may be, but it does indicate, if you're making money, they might move you. Brandon Lowe is someone people talk about. I do like Brandon Lowe, but I'm a little bit concerned about his injury history. Yandy's a horse, man. He's a horse. He's a dude. Him leading off.
He'll hit, man.
And imagine him with that right. He'll just start fucking spraying line drives. Excuse my language. Spraying line drives to right field, launching that shit out of the yard. It kind of reminds me of when they got DJ in 19, and he just started going.
Oppos.
Right. Remember when DJ came in 2019? He just said, "Man, that right field's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hit like 30 home runs this year."
That's what skilled hitters can do, though.
Yeah.
Skilled hitters are able to actually push that ball to the other way.
Insane raw power. This guy has unreal raw power. He hit a ball 117 miles an hour off Nestor Cortez, but he hit a ball 117 miles.
Dude, this guy hasn't had a batting average below 281 in 3 years.
He also owns us, so like I kind of like would love to like not have to ever face him again. Let me pull up his stats against the Yankees.
5-WAR player 2 years ago, first base.
Not even the year prior. Yeah, he's a good player, man.
You're removed.
High quality ball player.
163. I mean, and dude, do you know how much they're paying him next year?
$8 million, right? And he has
$8 million for a 120 WRC plus.
You trade Ben
Is it a
Rice
club
for
option too?
Yeah, it's a club option, so they can choose. Oh, we'll pay you $10 million, or get the hell out of here. You're not very good.
In 2026.
Yeah, the Yankees choose
awesome.
whether they can extend that contract or not.
That's awesome. We love that.
Yeah, dude, give him Ben Rice, give him an arm, get this shit over with. Go sign.
Your defense is not going to be great at first base, but you can live with it.
Though. You can get a second baseman. You can
sign Bregman in that case.
Right, or you could say, hey, you know what? We're going to take Bellinger and Horner off your hands.
Right. You could do that, because you're getting the power. Dude, honestly, Bregman, though, and Yandy in the lineup would be freaking sick. That would be sick. That would be really... the power you're going to get from that, the power... You get the defensive solve with Bregman. You can live with Yandy at first base, and you're just mashing, dude. Think about the balance in that lineup, though. Like, in that instance, you have Yandy leading off. You have Judge batting second. Third, you could put Bregman at 3. Yeah. You could put Stanton at 4. And then at 5, you probably go with like a Bellinger at 5 let's assume you get Bellinger. 6, what are you gonna do? Like you want back-to-back lefties? Probably not. You still have Jazz there. You can put him at 6.
You can do a lot of things. You can get creative.
But so many things.
The point is, you want to have, because what Yandy does is him and Judge back-to-back is pretty strong, right? You have a high contact hitter who's going to be a pest, right? Someone who can hit the ball hard and provide, and he also kills lefties. The Yankees did not hit lefties very well last year. And then you just put the rest of your lineup. You just get some goods. Like Bellinger's a good fit for Yankee Stadium. Again, overpaid, yes, absolutely. But it's why you're able to, because if you can eat 17 million of that, the Cubs save $17 million. They'd do that, right? Wouldn't they save $17 million and then get? But I want to trade nothing for him for eating $17 million. Like I want to trade a vending machine for Cody Bellinger for eating $17 million. I'm not. But that's good because you get
the Cubs are out of their mind.
You basically get a player. You can basically buy a player for $17 million, right?
I'm fine with that. Bellinger's worth 17. Bellinger's worth 17
makes $8 million. That's $25 million. And then if you, I don't know if you can get
first,
Bregman at that
third,
point
and left. Why not?
Yeah, but
because you're offloading. You're offloading a little bit of money. Okay, so like what? We're $2 million over $300 million. Like it's not that big of a deal.
We're like because we're at 266 right now. So if you go 50 million,
no, we're at 254.
Is it towards the luxury? Yeah, luxury tax is what I'm looking at because it's tax.
Okay, I'm looking at just the payroll.
Because they did cut Fried's payroll to 12. It's $12 million for the next 2 years. I wonder if they're more willing to be aggressive with the luxury tax because Fried's only making $12 million. Maybe they're like they're footing a bill of X amount. It's weird. The Yankees are pretty savvy with the luxury tax. They know how to kind of duck.
You could trade Trevino.
You could trade Grisham is kind of what I imagine.
Grisham is 5. Yeah, I'd probably do that too.
I don't know what they'll do, but like
Waldo's just your outfielder. Waldo's your backup outfielder.
They can do things. That's kind of the point. They can do.
You can manipulate it, but like worst case, you're over the $300 million by a only that amount gets taxed. So it's like it's like $4 million, like whatever. Like you're building a roster that's going to be able to win a chip next year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't pussy out over $4 million. You know what I mean? $5 million. Like, why are you really gonna penny pinch at that point? You were just about to give $760 million to Juan Soto. Like, stop pussying footing.
You can, and there are definitely ways the Yankees can improve their infield. Again, they could take on Nico Horner. They can, or not take on, add Nico Horner to the deal, give a little bit more. And you also don't lose any draft picks doing this. If you get Yandy, Horner, Bellinger, you trade, you give up 0 draft picks. If
they take on some of Bellinger's money, you may not be able to have to pay it in the end.
I actually also wonder, because this is something I thought about for a little bit. And I don't know what you think about this, Alex. Would it be cheaper if they got Diaz and Bellinger, right? That's let's say they eat $17 million. That's $25 million. You still have, about $15 million under the third threshold. What if and let's get crazy here. I'm just getting a little crazy here. Why don't you move Schmidt or Heel and go get a pitcher and go sign Buehler? Do it again.
I think at that point I would trade Schmidt over Heel.
Let's go get Brendan Donovan.
Oh,
let's go put him on every episode leads back to Brendan Donovan. But again,
every pathway.
But the kind of the best this also ties back to Bregman because Bregman signing a star makes everything easier because you're willing to compensate at other positions. When you don't sign a star player, right? You're not as willing to compensate.
A couple of good players, not one great.
Right, and it adds up. It's expensive. When you try to do an offseason where you're like, oh, but I want to pay Bregman. Let's go play this guy and that guy.
Worse.
Right. You're going to go let me pay this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. It's well, you can only spread the wealth so many times until you're
That's
just
what Josh Donaldson move looks like.
Right.
You're paying good players on the decline.
Right. This is so and if you sign Bregman, you could still argue that you can still do the thing where you sign Buehler, you go get blah, 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 do all that stuff. The Yankees can get creative, but if they sign Bregman and they got him on a lower AAV deal, $24-25 million, maybe defer some of that money. Would he be willing to hey, let's defer a little bit of it. Let's give you a signing bonus. Let's do a little something. Cut down the AAV to $22 million. Then the Yankees are looking at a situation where, hey, they, you sign Bregman, you get him at that $22 million towards a luxury tax range. You have, I believe you're at $288 towards luxury tax. You have about $12 million until you hit that Cohen, or $13 million until you hit that Cohen threshold. You can still import a Yandy Diaz. You can still do a couple of things. The Yankees need to be creative. I think that's the best way to put it. The Yankees need to be creative, savvy, smart, but they also need to recognize that getting star players is important, that getting a big-time bat like Bregman would certainly help with the Yankees' ability to go out and also, if you want to be an attractive free agent destination, you have to be good. Right? Mm-hmm. You can't be.
Of course.
Can't win 81 games.
I like the idea though. If I had to choose between trading Heel or Schmidt, I'm trading Schmidt.
I think it's just the years of control, right?
It's the years of control. You're talking about pre-arbitration, Louis Seal, and Astros. They wanted him, but it's just Crane would not move Tucker to the Yankees. They may end up getting Tucker anyway, but Schmidt's extremely valuable. He's a good player. He had some issues last year with the injury, but he was killing it before the injury. This is a good pitcher, and teams that need pitching. You tell me, Ryan. Teams that need pitching, Schmidt's a damn attractive option in my opinion. Schmidt would immediately be 2 or 3 on some of these teams.
There are a lot of contenders who would love to have Clarke Schmidt on their roster. There are a lot of contenders who cannot afford to pay someone who's as good as Clarke Schmidt. You know what I mean? They can't do it. They just can't afford to do it. And another thing too is the Yankees having all their pitchers basically locked up at the moment. Dude, they don't have to do anything. And also for the Cubs, you know what you got to tell the Cubs? Yo, we don't have to trade for Cody Bellinger. I hope the Yankees don't pigeonhole themselves into trading for Cody Bellinger. Is that fair to say? I hope they don't force themselves to do it. I hope that they get creative and do something other than trading for Bellinger if it comes down to it. Don't force yourself to eat $20 million of Bellinger and trade Will Warren.
They're not doing that.
Exactly. They need to be smart. There are so many options available on the if you ask the right teams, you offer the right players, anyone's basically available. The world is your oyster, right? I like Bellinger in terms of just naturally how he fits at Yankee Stadium, but there are so many, again, Yandy Diaz is a beautiful fit at Yankee Stadium. He loves seeing the ball the other way. He's a monster. He's a demonic hitter. He's the kind of guy who could run. We talked about okay, what you're scared of is running an offense where Judge is the only clear-cut dominant hitter on the team. Dude, Yandy Diaz can rock a 140 WRC. Plus he can rock a 150. That guy's special, man. The guy's a special kind of hitter. He's got an. Yep. I talked about this on an episode we were talking about first baseman, a video I did ranking first base candidates, and I was like, Yandy Diaz is such a perfect fit because he hits the ball hard, he hits the ball the other way, makes contact. He might actually hit 25 home runs at Yankee Stadium. If you're so concerned about Alex Bregman, he's only going to hit 5 home runs at Yankee Stadium. He's a Hall of Famer, sure, but he can't hit outside of Houston, even though his slugging percentage is higher outside of Houston, which, whatever. It's just giving data out, But Yandy Diaz would probably, destroy right field. He'd put a dent in right field. He hits the ball so hard. I don't think people understand how good he is at hitting the ball hard. I looked at his average exit velocity over the last 3 seasons. The only qualified hitters with a higher exit velocity than Yandy Diaz is that's first base. Sorry. The only hitters are Judge, Ohtani, Stanton, O'Neill Cruz, Yordan Alvarez, like Ronald Acuna Jr. He's up there with, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jock Peterson. He has a higher exit velo than Corey Seager, Gunnar Henderson. Like, come on, this guy hits the ball so freaking hard. Let's go get this guy. Let's go put him on the diamond. But, like, you can get creative and do stuff like that. You don't have to force yourself to get Bellinger. Just like you don't have to force yourself to get Bregman, but, hey, his market might collapse and fall into you. I don't think either of us would even be talking about Bregman if we thought his market was like $220 million. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Would you? Like, I wouldn't pay him $30 million a year. Like, I'd rather blow my brains out. No, but like 24, 25, 20, 23 maybe if you defer a little bit of money, like. You know what I mean? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. The Yankees have to take advantage of what the market gives them, and we've seen them shift dramatically. They saw the Brewers basically go, hey, we need a starter. Do you need Nestor? Do you want Devin Williams? You can't pay this guy. You want Devin Williams? They're like, do we want Devin Williams? Yeah, here's Caleb Durbin. Let's go get this thing done. Screw it. Let's go get this thing done. Once they realized that the Astros weren't going to trade them Tucker, they were like, let's go get Devin Williams. Like, Brian Cashman isn't sitting on his ass and just, like, not doing anything until the market figures itself out. I think we're going to see him get very creative. Bregman would be a creative move. It would allow him to do a lot of things, and that's what we're kind of talking about here. Don't just... Fans, our beautiful viewers are amazing, lovely, awesome, beautiful. You're amazing, you're smart, you're incredible if you're one of our viewers. You know that forcing yourself to make one move and one move only is detrimental. Don't force yourself into Bellinger. Just like we're not saying force yourself into Bregman, but you want lanes. You want things that make sense. Bregman makes sense, Alex, if you're able to get, like you mentioned, Yandy Diaz. If you're maybe able to take a flyer on a left fielder. Would you be okay with taking a flyer on a left fielder like a Max Kepler 1-year deal? Say like, all right, here's like $7 million. We'll go shore up the infield. The only reason I wouldn't feel great about that is because who's your like backup if Kepler sucks? It's like Trent Grisham, not great. You know what I mean? Whereas at first base, it's Ben
Kepler
Rice.
Sucks though.
Yeah, he had a bad year last year. But you get my point.
Kepler sucks.
Yeah, I was kind of like thinking that one out. But point is, you can do things. There are ways to improve. Why don't you go trade for Taylor Ward? He might get moved. Taylor Ward's solid bat. He kills lefties. 1-year deal. He's got lefties. What? Gonna make like 10 million. Give me
Suzuki.
Right? Go. Man, don't even get me started on Seiya Suzuki. Like all these.
I'll stick Brendan Donovan left field. I don't give a shit.
Dude, I would stick Brendan Donovan at fucking catcher if I had to. Brendan Donovan.
He could pitch for us. I don't care.
He could be Shohei Ohtani. Brendan Donovan is. I wonder like how my girlfriend feels about me talking about Brendan Donovan this way, because like I talk about him in a way that like it's maybe not normal. Like Brendan Donovan,
the St. Louis Cardinals are sitting on a gold mine, man. They should trade him before they waste his career away.
Brendan Donovan's so tough, man. Like he probably gets with mad girls after he plays a baseball game, right? Like he probably sits in his hotel room and does like
he's
a
a player
spread,
in many different sports.
Like he might do like you think he does like a money spread in his hotel room after he plays the game? Like, man, I'm a ball player. I'm rich.
Pre-arbitration money.
That minor league money, dude. Those minor league rations. No, but like he probably makes $1 million now, right? Like that pre-arb bonus pool, because he's in his third year. I think he would actually make like $1 million now. Probably doing a money spread in his hotel room.
He made $757K last year.
Hey, that's money, dude. That's dough. And he got advertised. He's probably sponsored. You know what I mean? He's probably got a little dough going for him. He's probably He doesn't do. He probably doesn't do a money spread. You know what he does? He probably invests his money. He's probably got a 401k. He's probably so financially responsible. Brendan Donovan might be the most.
Definitely.
He's definitely a financially responsible person.
I love a good, boring, financially responsible player.
Yeah, Brendan Donovan's financially responsible. He's a role model. He is just
stand-up citizen.
If we got Brendan Donovan and like Yandy Diaz,
we'd be the biggest Brendan Donovan fan page.
Yeah, if we got Brendan Donovan, Yandy Diaz, or like, could you imagine like Brendan Donovan plays first for us, or like Bregman? That would be an idea. Donovan at first. Donovan
Can
left
you put him
would
at
be fun.
first?
You could.
He's played 150 innings. Not so good.
Play him in left
at first.
Put him in left.
Play him in left. Yeah. He's played left field. He's an average defender. That's fine.
You put him in left.
That.
You got you can get. Could you imagine like Donovan, Judge? This would be funny. You put like Bellinger at first, maybe, or
Yandy.
Bregman. Yeah, Yandy would be my.
It's a lot of trade pieces there, but
yeah, you'd have to sign.
I think that's.
But Bregman's a sign piece, right? Like
Bregman's, but you're gonna give up draft capital. Yeah, you got the QO, but like still, look, we love Brendan Donovan. I mean, unless they do something surprising and they acquire a player like that,
I think he's not as likely anymore.
Yeah, he's not as likely anymore. But like again, I don't know what the Yankees are doing. Like we're talking about this guy and they're talking about that guy. You know, like who knows? But Yandy Diaz is an interesting one. That's one that like
we didn't think we were gonna get Devin Williams.
Right, we had no idea that we heard like inkling of it like weeks ago or maybe a couple days ago, and like we just didn't think anything of it. But then suddenly it was happening, and it's like okay. Sometimes, and we talked about this yesterday, Ryan. Sometimes the Yankees are like where it's the quietest is where they're stalking. You know, like that's where they are, and the Tucker stuff. Like we heard so much smoke about it, but the Cubs, like that started to heat up, and like while that whole thing was materializing, the Yankees did something else, and it was like, oh wait, what? Like while the whole Tucker thing was unfolding, they went and got Devin Williams. And it's like no one saw that coming. They were. Maybe it was a leverage game for them. Who knows? Like I think they wanted Tucker, it just didn't work out. But
yeah,
Yandy Diaz does make a lot of sense for the Yankees.
So like with the Rays before, they're willing to.
And I personally think if you're going to trade for an infielder, the cheapest position to acquire is first base.
I'm sorry, right? Man. I'm just like that. Yandy Diaz just sounds right, man. It's like
dude, the Rays
like
are going to are selling. The Rays are selling, dude.
Can you say Yandy Diaz again? It's like music to my ears right now. Can you say his name again?
Yandy freaking Diaz, dude.
We need.
I mean that the thing is the Rays are about to. I mean, they're horrible, right? The Rays are cooked. Like they need to sell, and they are going to sell. And Yandy Diaz, like, why have him? They should have sold him at the freaking deadline. Those idiots didn't want to move him. Yankees might have won a chip with him.
Look, I think Ben Rice would actually be an attractive piece because he's a cheap first baseman.
He's cost control.
He's also
upside.
Like he's a data darling.
They can flip him in the future.
Right. He's a data darling. He's cheap. They would make sense for them. He can catch a little bit too if they desperately need him to do so. I know they acquired Danny Jansen, so I don't think he's gonna have to catch there. But like, would you do Rice in an arm for Diaz? I would in a heartbeat because Diaz makes you better, right? You got Bregman. That's like what 20. Again, that's $32 million towards a luxury
2 years
tax.
of cost control.
Yeah,
well above average offensive performance.
Yep.
At first, and a guy that's killed us at every single chance he's gotten.
Yeah, Yandy
Diaz just murders us.
People are going to lose 797 OPS. Yes, playing at Tropicana Fields, which is not a high run ballpark.
26
and also
playoff games.
Right. Also, you have to think a lot of that production came in 2021 when the runs in 2022 when run scoring was down. So like the average OPS for like 797 OPS is pretty good.
Yeah.
In the
he also hasn't played any less than 134 games in 4 straight years.
Yeah.
So
he's also
yoked.
Have you like seen him?
Yeah, he's jacked. I mean, listen, like
jacked.
if you want an older offensive first player, first base is the place to put them.
Right.
You know what I mean, and you're going to pay him nothing.
Have a stable leadoff guy. Again, you can kind of get creative with the rest of your offense. Bregman, Diaz, there are a lot of fits for the Yankees, but the best way to put it is I think there are a lot of fits on offense. I think Cashman just got to find the price he's comfortable managing. Bregman's included in that group. Diaz, Bellinger, like there are a lot of players the Yankees can do. There are a lot of things the Yankees can do.
There's going to be a combination here that works.
Right. There are a lot of things the Yankees can do to improve. That's why when people go, oh my gosh, the offense, it sucks now. And it's like, well,
just wait.
Yes,
give it like 2 months and you'll see.
Give it time. If on March 1st I have Everson Pereira as the projected left fielder, okay, let's
we're rising. Right. We're rising picket fences at that point.
Right. But if like it's right now. Right now. You know what I mean? Like, give it time.
I have no concern.
Brian Cashman,
dude, he's already said he's going to make upgrades. Like, this is like,
yeah.
Like, we're just waiting for him to do it. But here's the thing to me, Ryan, is it's the first domino that falls is gonna determine where this goes. If they sign Bregman, we're probably not spending a ton more money. But if you acquire a player, we're going to spend some money. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see the first domino will determine the outcome of this. So it's going to be interesting. Like, I do think Bregman is real.
Brian Cashman said like a month ago, yeah, Caleb Durbin, he's gonna be a second. Oh, he's gonna be a second baseman, man. And then he flips him for Devin Williams. Like Brian Cashman, people were freaking out yesterday because he's like, DJ LeMay is one of our internal starting second baseman. Brian Cashman, I think, would rather eat nails than start DJ LeMay at second base or walk to a season with him.
I mean, dude, he knows he's cooked. He knows. He knows. DJ LeMay is no longer an everyday factor on this team. Like
Brian Cashman is blind.
You also don't trade Caleb Durbin, who's your incumbent second baseman, unless you have a freaking backup plan there to upgrade it, right? If you trade Caleb Durbin, you will have the intention of getting a player that's better than Durbin, right? Mm-hmm. And a player, I mean, it's not that hard to do because Durbin's never played an MLB game before. But you were going to get above average defense from him, and you were going to get above average base running, and you were going to get above average contact skills. So, Ryan, let me ask you a question. Who offers better defense than Caleb Durbin? Not as good base running, obviously, but better power, better contact skills, and has a shit ton of postseason experience. Who offers that?
The Breg Dog.
The Breg Dog. So the pathway is like a freaking runway. It's lit up right now. A couple drones in New Jersey to light it up. This is exactly what we're seeing unfold for the Yankees. Like, this is
the Alex Bregman in New Jersey drones episode. That's what this is.
Dude,
the Alex Bregman New
all
Jersey
directions are pointing at Alex Bregman right now, and I think Brian Cashman is like, here's what I think. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but this is what I think. I think that they have a deal on the table for Bregman at like 7,170, 7,175, and they're like, and Cashman's like, go find something better than that. Go find something better.
I mean, it's basically doing Christian Walker. Like, hey, dude, here's a 3-year deal, and that's what he did. He did give them. I don't know if it's official. He officially submitted an offer, but I do know that they were preparing to make a pretty aggressive offer. Then Kyle Tucker comes on the table. You also have to think there's a ripple effect. Now that Kyle Tucker's off the table, now they can go do other things. Did you remember seeing that press conference yesterday? And Cashman's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just texting people because I'm trying to make some other moves." Like, that's baller as hell. Look, I think I've grown to kind of appreciate that. I know that Cashman's someone who's going to, you know what I mean? I hope that I view Cash as someone he's willing to go do things. I don't think it's a question about willingness.
Proactive.
Right. It's just like in the case of Tucker, I really don't think the Astros wanted to trade him here. I really don't. I have it on pretty good information that they didn't want to trade him here. So I don't think Cashman ever really had a shot there. And then for Soto, it's $800 million. So Cashman can't control that he got $800 million.
That's just stupid money. I mean, the Mets overpaid, but they did it.
They had to.
They did it. They did it to make a point, dude. They did it to get into the realm of we are a big player in the MLB now.
You have to do that.
That's what they had to do. They had to set the tone. Right. They had to set the tone. They had to combat the Dodgers' moves. Like, the Yankees were just outbid because the Mets were making a statement with that signing. Right. It was a lot more than Juan Soto. It was, we are fucking here. That's what the Mets said to the MLB. And so apologies for my language. I know we've cursed a little bit in this episode. Gonna try to dial it down in the future. But sometimes you just have to emphasize things, and that's not. But
that's not even like a criticism of because in the same vein, what we would sit here and say is, hey, the Yankees need to go out and do the same thing. The Yankees need to go out and make a statement, right? They need to go out and get better.
Not a statement did it with Fried and Devin Williams.
They've done a good job. Improve, like, the pitching staff's great. The pitching staff's
unbelievable.
Phenomenal. They have a great
championship caliber.
Staff. Yes, but they need to improve now. Okay, how do we make the offense better? And
they
now
will.
Cashman, it's go time, right? Like, we have given him the benefit of the doubt because we understand that it's a process for agency. You don't sign all your players on day one. You don't sign all your players before New Year's. But we're giving him that leash because you deserve a leash when you go into the offseason. You deserve to get time to build up your roster, and then we'll evaluate on spring training. On spring training, we're like, man, this team's. Right,
dude, Ryan. I'm looking at it. Do you know how much Carlo Rodon makes a season?
26. Right.
How the hell did the Yankees get Max Fried at the same price as that?
Look, I think also when you look at the Rodon deal, like, look,
twice as good as Rodon.
Right? Is it a great contract? No, but like Severino's making $22 million over the next 2 years.
It's egregious. I mean, but the thing is, the Yankees knew this was going to happen. Like, the market was going to get extremely inflated, and they also were able to. The reason that they were able to get Devin Williams is because they acquired Max Fried. You know what I mean? Because they could trade another lefty. They had the ability by getting Fried. It allowed them to get Devin Williams. So those domino effects. That's why I'm saying the move that they make right now, the first move they make to address the offense, is going to have a domino effect on what they do. So, we'll keep going through these things, Ryan. Again, we somehow managed to make this a 52-minute episode. I don't really know how, but we just keep going through these ideas and topics and discussions. Hey, I think it's fun.
If the people like it, we're going to keep providing it, all right? Like, as long as if you guys enjoy this kind of content, we are for the people. We're for the Yankee fan.
Yes,
we are the Yankee fan podcast, right? We are for the Yankee fan. We're not going to give you this, oh my gosh, the sky's falling apart.
Bullshit.
We're not going to give you conspiracy bullshit on whether Aaron Boone's being a puppet and controlled by Randy Levine in the dark corner of the Yankee front office. We're not going to give you some conspiracy theory that, Hal Steinbrenner's secretly plotting to destroy the franchise. But we're also not going to just tell you this guy's good because he's a Yankee. We're going to give you guys
objective analysis.
Yeah, we'll give you guys objective analysis. We'll tell you guys, we'll give you guys the kind of perspective that I think is more aligned with the industry perspective than just the public perception. You know what I mean? The kind of stuff that I think aligns more with the kind of stuff that I think aligns more with how the industry views the Yankees. Yeah, we're not going to give you some conspiracy theory BS about the Yankees lost Soto because their security guard told his dad like, oh my god, like, yeah, I'm so sure Juan Soto was like, man, I really want to go play for the Yankees. I want to take $760 million from the Yankees, but that security guard, that goddamn security guard. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so sure that played. So, we're not giving you bullshit. We're not giving you bullshit. We're going to tell you how it is.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because during these episodes, Ryan and I happen to like kind of go through our process of figuring out different players, avenues, pathways to being a successful team. And I think it's kind of fun for you guys to be involved in that process and like hear us kind of go through these thought processes and come to a result or come to a debate or come to a player that we didn't think about and then discuss that and analyze it. So, I think it's fun. I know a lot of you guys like the longer form episodes, just have it in the background, driving somewhere, at the gym, whatever it might be. So always happy to be in your ear. Nonetheless, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, means the world to us. The growth on the channel the last couple of days has been excellent, awesome, all thanks to you guys. So we absolutely love you guys. As Yankee fans, all we want to do is be great. And all Ryan and I do is painfully stress about how we can make this team great. And it's fun to see Cashman make some of the moves that we like. It's fun to see him, execute things and the dominoes fall into place. So, we've talked about a lot of players offensively. I'm sure there's somebody we haven't talked about the Yankees are going to somehow acquire. We're going to be like, what the freaking hell just happened? But we're going to keep knocking on those doors, banging on those windows until we find and analyze every single piece that's possible. And when the time comes that they make those deals, we're gonna have it covered. Well, we'll have already talked about this. We'll be able to react and analyze it at a very high level. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. And please, if you guys want any sort of content, any style, any specific videos, we love to hear your feedback. Love to hear it. Ryan, maybe we should set up some sort of email. Like maybe people can email you about their questions, maybe topic ideas, things that we can have. That could be cool.
Yeah. RyanGarciaSM@gmail.com. It's like my Twitter
or do Ryan Garcia at Empire Sports Media.
Yeah,
people can send to the professional email. Send it to the professional email. Ryan Garcia at EmpireSportsMedia.com. We'll throw it in the description. Also, we'll throw it in a pinned comment, and that way people can submit their questions to your email, and then we can answer them in like a mailbag format. Yeah,
we want to do mail. We want to make this a more immersive experience. So I'd absolutely let's get that going. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Make sure to like and subscribe. Love all of you. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.